Welcome to the Chartered Township of Comstock Board Meeting, Monday, May 18th, 2026. This meeting is now called to order. May we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Be looking for approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a change in the agenda for tonight,
Okay.
and that's under Trustee concerning the Circuit Court Case 2024-0614-CH. I placed this on the agenda because of a comment by another member at our last meeting referring directly to this, and for that reason. But after second thought and discussion, I would like to rescind this from being on the agenda tonight.
Okay.
And another change to the second area, a letter of interest. I would like to amend that to a letter of interest and possible action.
Are we going to be told what that is in regards to before we vote?
Oh, well, certainly. We will have that discussion when it comes to that point in time.
Are there any further additions, changes to the agenda? If not, I'd be looking for a motion for approval of the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda with the requested amendments.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Beauchamp, supported by Trustee Pratt. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Agenda is approved. Moving along to public comment on agenda items only. A citizen may state their name and address and may speak only one time for no more than 3 minutes. This time may not be given to another citizen to extend their time. The person speaking has the floor, and no other citizen shall speak during someone else's time. During this time, you will be making statements to the board without discussion from board members, but you are welcome to make an appointment with the supervisor or superintendent to discuss your comments further. Their contact information is located by the door. Please keep comments clean and respectful. One second, sir. Would you grab the microphone? And then you might have to hold the button on the bottom. And it turns green.
Is it? Here? Did you do it?
No.
I can be loud.
Deputy Knight, will you help him, please?
Well, I'm glad there was a little bit changes to this agenda because I have interest and I have personal knowledge about this case. And the plaintiff in this case is full of fraud. And I'm glad that was removed. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Any further citizen comment on agenda items this evening? If not, we'll be moving along to announcements for departments, boards, and commissions. Commissioner Gisler isn't here with us this evening, and he says he has no important happenings to share right now. We'll be moving along to the consent agenda. Be looking for a motion of approval for meeting minutes from April 27th, 2026, and bills payable May 19th, 2026.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support. Second.
Motion made by Clerk Beauchamp, supported by Trustee Pratt. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Agenda is approved. Moving through presentations, we have no business, no fire and rescue. Moving along to Clerk Beauchamp.
Just want to give a quick update on the May 5th election. We had a decent turnout. 63% of the issued absentee ballots were returned, or about 1,971 out of the 3,102 that were issued. We had over 1,100 residents vote in person, with an overall total of about 24% turnout of all voters. Everything went smooth and all precincts were without major issue. We conducted a kids vote again, which give the kids something to do while their parents are voting and get them excited about the process. They were able to decide which they liked best between 2 flowers, 2 insects, and 2 drinks. The results were posted on Facebook if anyone is curious.
Thank you, Clerk Beauchamp. Any board member questions? If not, be moving along to Treasurer, actually the Board of Review Day Adjustments Resolution.
Okay, so we have Resolution 2026-8 in front of us. Our assessor is requesting that we move our board of review dates from July 21st to July 23rd, and our December board of review dates from December 15th to December 17th. So we'd just be looking for a motion to approve the resolution.
I would make a motion that we approve the resolution.
Support?
Motion made by Trustee McIver, supported by Clerk Beauchamp. Roll call vote?
Trustee Pratt?
Yes.
Trustee Amos?
Yes.
Trustee Cherry? Yes. Clerk Beauchamp, yes. Supervisor Martin?
Yes.
Treasurer Bloomfield?
Yes.
Trustee McIver?
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Moving along to Treasurer Bloomfield.
Yes, I would like to discuss the Planning Commission letter that was sent from the Planning Commission to the Liquor Control Commission in regards to Ben Martin with the ordinance violation, proposed ordinance violation for having a liquor license, not a winemaking license. And I know that this created some controversy when this was done, but I want you all to understand that the Planning Commission operates independently from the Township Board. Also, since there was a public hearing on this at the school, I think a lot of you were probably there, and there was also letters sent to and from the Liquor Control Commission, which we just received tonight. I haven't even had a chance to look at them. But I feel like since we had so much interest in this, I feel like transparency is needed here. So I don't know where the rest of the board is on this, but I would like to make a motion to take this out of attorney-client privilege, the letter for the Planning Commission, and also what is happening with the Liquor Control Commission.
Support.
And I'd like to see in between, if there's a motion and support on the table, if I could make a motion that I abstain from discussion. So I make a motion to abstain from discussion involving the matter because it involves my business.
Support.
Motion made by Supervisor Martin, supported by Clerk Beauchamp. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. So there's a motion and support on the table.
I would just seek clarification because I don't think it is under attorney-client privilege.
I thought it was, Nicole.
Is it under attorney-client privilege? Which part?
I get. So I guess that's what I don't know. What are you looking at in terms of the attorney-client privilege?
I do not believe the letter for.
The correspondence I did to the board?
I'm
or
sorry.
The correspondence I did to the board or something else?
The correspondence that went to the Liquor Control Commission from the Planning Commission, which that one I don't believe is attorney-client privilege.
Yeah, that's public.
But the other one that did go to the Liquor Control Commission.
See, I don't think any of those
It's
are
not under.
attorney-client privilege.
Okay, did the residents hear that? So you should be happy. Okay. So should we continue with the motion and pass it anyway?
I would suggest maybe withdrawing the motion because it doesn't
Okay,
apply.
okay. Then I withdraw my motion.
So if Treasurer Bloom, does she need support?
Whoever seconded it, do you agree to have her? Okay.
Okay, so there's a motion, there's support,
It's been withdrawn.
Okay.
The motion's been withdrawn.
so we're good. Sounds good. Okay, moving along to Trustee Pratt for the letter of interest and possible action.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This was a letter, a very brief one. It was anonymous. It said, from what I understand, to the Planning and Zoning Board. I'm not sure if there was discussion there, but from what I understand, it was not ruled upon. And I'm sure, Attorney Thal, if you had a chance, perhaps you were there at that meeting, I will just read it here. This, again, is an anonymous letter. It was sent to Ms. Bryant concerning subject Soil Friends. And it says that I would like to request a yes or no vote before the Soil Friends vote to see if any zoning board members have invested in Soil Friends. I believe there could be a conflict of interest that needs to be addressed. So again, this is anonymous. I don't know who the person is, what they have in mind, but I do think an allegation like this is serious enough for our board to take a look at and have attorney input on this, since it did become before the Planning and Zoning Board, and I've felt it needed to come to us to at least acknowledge it from the public, somebody from the public, and get some input from our attorney on it.
Well, I would say this, that the planning commissioners have bylaws they operate under, and those bylaws require them to disclose any type of financial interest they have in any matter coming before the planning commission. So if any of them had a financial interest in Soil Friends, they would have been required by the bylaws to indicate that interest prior to taking any action. And if they did have an interest and they didn't disclose it, that would be malfeasance and they could be removed from the planning commission. So to that extent, the planning commissioners are obligated to disclose any interest they have before they vote on any items that come before them.
Okay, and that would similarly transfer to the board proper concerning our bylaws and our interaction on any conflicts of interest.
Well, certainly with the Charter Township Board, it's a little different because you are required by the Charter Township Act to vote on all matters that come before the board unless you have a conflict of interest, you indicate your conflict of interest, and then the board votes to have you not participate in the matter. So it's a little bit different than the Planning Commission. Planning commissioners have a duty to disclose their any conflicts of interest, and then they're not permitted to vote on the matter. Charter Township members have to disclose their interest and then ask the board to not participate in it. And it's up to the board whether or not to choose to have them vote or not.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Before any further conversation is had, I would like to make a motion to abstain from any discussion involving the alleged allegation.
Support.
Motion made by Supervisor Martin, supported by Treasurer Bloomfield. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Hand it back over to you, Trustee Pratt.
Okay, for me, the clarification from Attorney Thal is very helpful. And for me, again, it helps satisfy our position on anything like this, and to also let our residents know the obligations we have as a board, as well as the P&C commissioners have in allowing any conflicts to be placed in the public's know. So I'm satisfied. If any other people have any questions on this, I'd be more than happy to hear that.
Any further board member questions? Trustee Cherry? Trustee Amos?
No.
Clerk Bochamp? None. Trustee MacGyver?
No, not at all.
Treasurer Bloomfield?
I just want to say that when my personal court case was brought into question with this board, and the parcel that I owned at the time, I did abstain because the person that was next to me was coming before the Planning Commission for a change of zoning. So I did abstain, and voila, Sandy becomes news with the Township Board. So yes, we do abstain, Mr. Pratt.
Thank you. Any further board discussion? We'll be moving along to supervisor. We have the ABA disaster loan presentation. Joyce?
Thank you. So thank you very much for the opportunity to present this SBA, Small Business Administration Disaster Loan Program. My name is Joyce Elele, and I'm a public affairs specialist with the Small Business Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. So following the March 6th tornado that primarily affected the Branch, the Cass, and the St. Joseph counties, the governor invited SBA, and there is currently an agency declaration that provides like loan recovery for those primary counties. But in addition to those 3 counties, we have 10 other counties, Kalamazoo being one of them, whereby SBA can provide what is called the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. But basically, SBA is the federal government like largest loan assistance when there is disaster. So the types of loans that are provided include like loans to business owners and private nonprofit organizations, business disaster loans. Physical disaster loans. Then there is also the homeowners and renters disaster loan support, and then there is the economic injury disaster loan. Yes, although this town was not directly impacted, but we are reaching out to all of the contiguous counties, just explaining what is available. So for the business physical disaster loan, which is also available to when there is an agency declaration to businesses, you can get as much as $2 million for uninsured losses. And this could be loans for like replacing real estate or inventories. Then for the homeowners, when somebody has lost their home based off of the disaster, that's the March 6th tornado, you can get as much as $500,000. And then also to replace property that's lost, you can get up to $100,000. Then for the economic injury disaster loan, which I know this particular town would benefit, or if people are interested, you can get as much as $2 million. So it provides like working capital just to help if a business discovers that following the tornado, even if it's an indirect impact on their business, they're beginning to experience low business as a result of the tornado. You can basically apply and get some support to support like working capital, salaries, I meant to say like salaries, like your general working capital that you use to run the business. So one of the good things about this loan is that there is no cost to apply. And there is also no cost to decline the offer. So we would usually encourage anyone who has been impacted to just go ahead and apply, even if you have insurance coverage. While waiting for the insurance coverage to kick in, you can begin to repair whatever it is that you have lost. And then when the insurance comes in, you can use the loan to basically repay what you have used out of the insurance. Now, this loan, the interest rate is really, really, really low. You have for the homeowners, you have about 2.87%. For businesses, it's as low as 4%, and for nonprofits, it's 3.625%. And the loan can last. Has a lifespan of 30 years. For the first 1 year, you don't have to repay, you don't have to pay any interest for the first 1 year. So we have shared, in addition to the economic injury, there is also like the mitigation loan. The government is supporting where there has been a disaster, even after you have got the loan. If there are things you can do to be more resilient, like putting like a stronger roof, like just things that can mitigate the disaster going forward. That's 20% of the loan that you have qualified for. You can also go ahead and apply for that. So for this loan, the deadline for the physical disaster loan is June 28th. But for the economic injury, it's up until even January next year. And the thing that happens is that a lot of the times the business owners are not aware of the impact of the disaster. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for people to become aware of how something is impacting their businesses. So that's why that takes that length of time. Yes, well, I can say everything about how you can apply, but I definitely will leave some of the materials here. And I've shared also with Supervisor Martins before now, so that if anybody is interested, you can apply. And there are 3 ways of applying. You can either apply online to the lending.sba.gov. You can call the customer service. And then there is also the recovery center that's located at the 52N Main Street, 3 Rivers, Michigan. So but this particular disaster loan outreach center closes out by the end of May. So for anyone who is impacted and who needs to apply and you want to go physically to the disaster loan outreach center, just to let us know that it's open up until the end of this month. So, these are just like the basic bullets of what the disaster loan program is all about, but we are still available to basically answer questions. So I don't know if there are questions or,
Thank you, Joyce, appreciate it. Any board member questions? That was my main question that you addressed, is even if we weren't directly impacted, the indirect results of a storm in your surrounding area for a business to be able to apply. So I thought it would be informative to have it in the packet, and if people wanted to apply, they would have the information.
Yes, absolutely. So I'll leave some of the materials which kind of guides people on how to apply for that, and that's called the economic injury disaster loan.
Okay. Is there any further board member questions? Thank you for your time, Joyce.
Thank you.
Moving along to early warning siren discussion. Last meeting, we all agreed to apply for the BRICS program for the funding for the sirens, and we were denied. And that is because there are 4 programs in the BRICS program. And I talked with the siren manufacturer as well as Pratt, and we were all under the impression that we could apply for that. But it happened to be that the early warning sirens are listed among the commonly requested activities, and they happen to not be eligible for funding. So on the bulletin, it advertised early warning sirens, and then when you read the mitigation, it lined right up, but it actually happens to be a program that is not available for early warning sirens. The only part that would be available would be earthquake early warning systems. So that was kind of on a whole different note. And there in the agenda packet, there's some more details that talk about that. So just as informational to the board that we applied, but it just wasn't something that could be done. I put both of our revised proposals for sirens from both companies on our desks, and I talked to Finance Director Padgett, and his recommendation to the board was to wait until the financial audit came through, so we could see our position. Hopefully, we could see that sometime toward the end of the month, beginning of June. And then that would be my intention to bring it back to the board and see if we could take actions on maybe even just a partial implementation of sirens. We need 10 of them, so we could start with maybe, I think the first idea to bring would be a third of the sirens, so do it over the course of 3 years. 10 isn't really a divisible number by 3, but we could do 4, 3, and 3, or do it somewhere different. So if there's any further board member questions or discussion on that matter.
I was just confused on why it was on the agenda, because, excuse me, the scuttlebutt is that we 4 voted down the weather sirens, so I'm a little confused, but I'm glad you did bring it back, because it is obviously a good topic and needs to be taken care of the right way and put out there the right way, for transparency's sake, right?
Yeah, I think we applied for a grant and we were denied for it, so it'd only be appropriate to put it in the agenda packet to see why we were denied, and then have a conversation on how we're gonna move forward. Trustee Amos?
I'm good.
Trustee Pratt?
Nothing at this time.
Clerk Beauchamp?
Just as an FYI, our pre-audit was 2 weeks ago, and our auditors are here this week. So generally, after the audit, it does take a couple weeks for us to get their results back. So just for a realistic expectation on timeline with that.
Yeah, when I spoke with Brett, he said maybe end of the month, beginning of June. Does that seem right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay. Trustee MacGyver?
No, I have the question, thank you.
Treasurer Bloomfield?
I just want to say that I'm still under the belief that we do need the sirens and the residents do want them, so I look forward to moving forward with that.
Thank you. Any further board discussion? If not, we'll be moving along to Ordinance Report from Dakota.
All right, good evening. All right, so for, am I on? Can you hear me?
No.
Can you hear me now?
Red light is on.
Alrighty, there we go. Hey, it's green now. All right, cool. So for last month in April, I went to court 8 times, wrote 4 citations, 2 parking tickets. I had 61 complaints that led to 42 cases. We had 32 corrective violations, and I had 10 cases left over for last month that carried into this month. So year to date, I have had 181 complaints so far that I've had to look into, which is roughly the amount of caseload that happened for all of 2024. For 2025, I only had 108 complaints, so I am way above both of those years. Last month, I had 2 cases that were opened up with county health involving meth houses. Fortunately, they were right next to each other, so it made traveling very easy for me. We literally just had to walk, and that was great. In the process, found a cat, and I was able to play with the cat. Usually when I get involved with other agencies, they lead it, and I sit back and I play with the animals. 3 cases were addressed with different code enforcement people in the county. Something that I have found early on is if I have a problem house here in Comstock, they are probably also a problem somewhere else in the county, so I was able to pair up with them and try to figure things out. Sometimes our orders can say that from the court that if they had to clean up a property, they can't move it from property to property to property. That way we don't chase the litter or vehicles, whatever, all the way around. And that was kind of happening instead of through the township, through the county, so I was able to track that one down. 2 more cases were outside of the county. One was all over on the east side. I had somebody call telling me that their neighbor was having people come over and dropping litter off on their property, not the complaining person, but their neighbor's property. And then during some investigating, found out that they too had an enforcement order out of a different county, also on their property. So I was able to track that one down. 2 more cases were outside of the county. One was all over on the east side. I had somebody call telling me that their neighbor was having people come over and dropping litter off on their property, not the complaining person, but their neighbor's property. And then during some investigating, found out that they too had an enforcement order out of a different county, all over on the east side, so we were able to also adjust that. I did receive 2 orders for demolition of properties. Both of them are vacant, nobody is living in them, not for a while. And I did have one complaint from out of district. Apparently there was a car show that was happening somewhere else in the county, and they thought because I was close, I could also do the enforcement on it. I told them that's not how my district works, and they really wanted me to come down and take a look at it, and that's just not how that worked. They were very sad, but they did understand. For cleanups, Rose Street, we only had to clean up 3 times for April. And then Stalwart/Market Street, we had to do it 4 times. 1 time was by College Hunks. I got the bill back today. It was $745.56 to pick that one up. Any questions?
Any questions for Dakota? Treasurer Bloomfield? No. Trustee McIver?
No, but thank you very much.
Clerk Beauchamp?
I have none.
Trustee Pratt?
Nothing.
Trustee Amos?
No.
Trustee Cherry? Good job, Dakota. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving along to closed session. I move that the Township Board convene in closed session under Section 8(1)H of the Open Meetings Act to consider material exempt from disclosure by state statute, Section 13(1)G of the Freedom of Information Act, being a letter from its attorney dated May 18th, 2026, for the reasons that the letter is exempt from disclosure under state law due to the attorney-client privilege.
Support.
Motion made by Supervisor Martin, supported by Trustee Amos. Roll call vote?
Trustee Cherry? Yes. Trustee Pratt?
Yes.
Trustee Amos?
Yes.
Treasurer Bloomfield? Yes. Clerk Beauchamp, yes. Trustee McIver? Yes. Supervisor Martin?
Yes.
Okay, we're going into closed session.
Thank you, Jerry. I make a motion to exit closed session.
Support.
Motion made by Supervisor Martin, supported by Clerk Beauchamp. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving along to Superintendent.
Supervisor, we have a motion to make.
Oh, yes, thank you.
I move that we authorize the attorney to take action as discussed in closed session.
Support.
Motion made by Clerk Beauchamp, supported by Trustee Pratt. Roll call vote?
Trustee McIver?
Yes.
Clerk Beauchamp, yes. Trustee Amos?
Yes.
Treasurer Bloomfield?
Yes.
Trustee Pratt?
Yes.
Trustee Cherry?
Yes.
Supervisor Martin?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, moving along through finance, through superintendent, along into reports. We have the April 2026 Sheriff's Report, April 2026 CABA reports, bills paid April 28th, 2026 through May 14th, 2026, cash summary by fund, April 26th, and cash summary by bank account April 26. Informational and future action items, we have FOIA requests. And moving along to public comments on agenda and non-agenda items. A citizen may state their name and address and may only speak one time for no more than 3 minutes. This time may not be given to another citizen to extend their time. The person speaking has the floor, and no other citizen shall speak during someone else's time. During this time, you'll be making statements to the board without discussion from board members, but you are welcome to make an appointment with the supervisor or superintendent to discuss your comments further. Their contact information is located by the door. Please keep comments clean and respectful.
Okay. Tammy Keeler, Salary Street. There is an ordinance on shipping containers, converted crates, probably on-demand storage pods. They're not supposed to be in your yard for no more than 30 days. I don't know why they're getting away with it. I don't care if it's grandfathered in or not. She posted that on Facebook just to get people's goats, I guess. But there's a lot of people mad. We cannot keep containers in our yard. What makes you so privileged? Just because she's on the board. I suggest that she be fined because she should follow the same ordinance that we follow. Basically, she ought to resign now because the votes are in. She's going to be voted off this board anyway for all the corruption and stuff. And a couple of the other ones. We're just tired of this. Why can one person get away with this ordinance and the other ones can't? You gotta go through hoops even to put up a pole barn or a shed or anything like that. Why is she getting away with it? Just because she's on the board? It's wrong. You can only have a pod in your yard for 30 days. Residential property, and that is residential property. It's not a business. Also, nobody's supposed to be living in your garage. There's a lot of ordinance being broken here, and I really suggest you guys do something about it because it's not fair to the citizens. We pay taxes. Actually, I do rent, but I do pay taxes because I have to give them to my landlord, so she has to pay taxes with that money. We are really tired of this, letting them get away with everything. Those containers should be removed, or I'm filing a complaint. I've already filed a complaint with the ordinance officer. He's been getting plenty of phone calls on this, and it should not be right. One person can do this. I'm not the only one complaining about this. You're lucky the guy that really wants to complain about this is not here tonight. They give him 30 days to get his out of his yard, and he cannot put one back in there. But they can keep theirs? That's wrong, totally wrong. Go by your ordinances. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, Autumn Smith. I want to speak tonight about consistency, transparency, and selective outrage when it comes to conflicts of interest in this community. Recently, there has been a great deal of discussion surrounding conflicts, recusals, and whether officials should abstain from participating in matters where personal or professional relationships may exist. That is fair public discussion to have, but if this board is going to take conflicts of interest seriously, then it needs to apply the same standard equally to everyone, not just when it is politically convenient. Because I noticed something very interesting. When Christy Cherry's husband allegedly filed a complaint against Ben's liquor license, suddenly nobody seemed concerned about conflicts of interest or abstaining. Nobody appeared outraged about appearances of impropriety then. Nobody demanded aggressive recusals or ethical scrutiny from the people connected to that situation, other than some few people in the crowd that saw it. But now conflict of interest is a language being weaponized selectively depending on who benefits politically. So let's talk about another conflict question that deserves public scrutiny. Robert Thal's law firm and its relationship with Eagle. According to documents obtained by my media website and FOIA requests, there are reportedly thousands of dollars worth of records listed in those relationships and communications. This raises a legitimate public question. If this board truly believes conflicts and appearances of impropriety matter, then when can the public expect Robert Thal's law firm to abstain from advising this board, planning, zoning, on environmental matters, development issues, or any decisions that directly intersect with Eagle-related interests? And this concern does not exist in a vacuum. Robert Thal has reportedly continued to advise boards that themselves have been accused of operating with multiple unresolved conflicts of interest, including situations serious enough to result in a formal complaint being filed with the Michigan Attorney General's office. So the public has every right to ask, why should citizens blindly trust legal opinions from a firm that appears to apply ethical standards inconsistently depending on circumstances? What is said at one meeting about conflicts of interest should apply equally everywhere, not only when it is useful or political or strategically. Because when the public sees one standard enforced against some people while others appear protected, confidence of the entire process collapse. And frankly, when citizens believe their own attorney may be conflicted and unwilling to address those concerns directly, it becomes very difficult to trust the guidance, recommendations, or legal interpretations being given to elected boards. Which brings me to another important question. Will Robert Thal recuse himself from matters connected to the quo warranto situation involving Hess? If conflicts of interest truly matter, then the public deserves consistency, transparency, and clear answers, not selective enforcements. Ethics cannot be situational, transparency cannot be partisan, and public trust cannot survive double standards. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, just a couple things. And this one is about a conflict of interest. Mrs. Cherry should not vote on any zoning ordinance. Seems how you guys have put her brother-in-law in place, have hired him. The other thing is that I sit here and I watch you guys, and you guys stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance every time, and God is brought up. But yet, you turn on one another like snakes. You slither right up there like this supposed incident against Ben. Here we go again. And we can just about guess where it came from. You're always going after him. If you don't like him, that's your problem. It's like if you don't like me, there's a door. I don't care, but stop it. Grow up. This place is supposed to be a place where everybody can tell what they want to tell and say what they want to say, not with the agenda. But you guys have got to stop this. This is ridiculous. Everybody's looking at us and, oh, yep, we know where that comment came from. Well, stop it. Like my husband said, it's like, and I'm just going to say this, the four of you cannot get along. It's like kids playing in the sandbox. I'm going to take my toys and I'm going to go home. That's what he said. He says, I'm not watching it anymore. This is ridiculous. In Comstock Township that I've been in for 69 years, and 22 of them have been corrupt with the government, it's time for everything to be brought out transparent. No more closed sessions. It needs to be brought out. We're not going to pull a Hudson and go behind closed doors. We're not going to play Randy Thompson, go behind closed doors, and then come to the board. We're not going to do this because the people of Comstock deserve to know what the heck is going on. Stop hiding. It's got to come to the front. I wasn't going to say anything, but you guys started it. I ended it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Karen Height. As far as the way that you have done the public speaking, that we can't talk about anything that's not on the agenda, well, I had something to talk about on the agenda tonight, and amazingly it got pulled. Mr. Pratt, if you were going to go after Sandy again for her lawsuit, I think we told you the last time, it's none of your business. It's not township business. Leave it alone. It's bordering on harassment. And when you make it about agenda things only, and then you pull it, you're taking away my Second Amendment rights to get up and say what I want to, or my First Amendment rights. Hey, I could use the Second Amendment ones too, but anyway. You're taking away my rights to be able to get up and say what needs to be said when it needs to be said. I think that, yes, it did move very fast tonight because nobody got up and spoke during those comments. Because, I would have, but you pulled it. So I'm speaking about it now. Lay off. We're tired of it, and the recalls will show it. Thank you. That's right.
Thank you, ma'am. Any further citizen comment?
Oh, boy. Good evening. My name is Jason Tollers, and I'm a resident of Comstock. I'd first like to request that the board reconsider their policy on having the first public comment of the night be agenda items only. As I see what I have to say is important to my community, but you may not be able to judge with what I have to say, you know, as being pertinent to the agenda. So I waited here all the way till the end, and I feel that it's restrictive to people like myself, who is a type 1 diabetic and may not be able to sit here in the audience for several hours waiting for you to allow me to have public comment and say what I feel is a concern for this public community. It is my belief that this board is currently incapable of governing, more concerned with interpersonal grudges, speculations of impropriety, and the comments of a few residents whose only sin is a lack of filter. Let us look at the last 2 months of meetings. We have fire and rescue grants, a moratorium on renewable energies, the liquor license ordinance complaints, the liquor license ordinance spectacular, and, as I just said, public comment discussion. And today we have a return of our circuit court cases and anonymous letters of interest. Meanwhile, the district faces a growing unhoused problem. A concerning testimony that we are seriously behind on constructing new houses in Comstock. We continue to pile more businesses on Gall Road without any consideration to traffic flow or accessibility. Comstock has yet lost another large employer, and this board's only ideas is spending $12 million on or more on a new fourth fire hall and getting a few $1 million to allow out-of-state investors to build a toxic battery energy storage system on our farmlands. We cannot thrive as a community by simply returning to a status quo. We cannot decide our future if we are at first not willing to move past our present. I beg this board and this community to begin asking yourselves, what is it that you want for your community? I know what I want. I want clean air, walkable streets, parks and third spaces, gainful employment, a community that is welcoming to small businesses, affordable housing, and good schools. Help me get there. Let us imagine a better Comstock together. End these ridiculous political games and do something for the people who have elected you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any further comment this evening? If there's no further comment, we'll be moving along to members' comments. Trustee Cherry?
Yeah, I need a point of clarification. When exactly and where exactly was Paul Cherry appointed to?
I don't believe he was.
He was
No,
not.
he wasn't, so that was a bold-faced lie. Okay, good to know, just double checking. I have no further comment because it's gonna fall on deaf ears anyway, so, but I appreciate you asking every time.
Thank you, Trustee Cherry. Trustee Amos?
I have nothing, thank you.
Trustee Pratt?
Just a couple things. I was going to pass until one comment, so I think I need. Thank you. I need to address that just briefly. And I had placed that on the agenda because of comments that was made at our last meeting. And I wanted to be able to respond to that. And that's the only reason I placed that on our agenda tonight. I removed it because there was an objection. And after listening to the objection and others on the board, I thought it best to remove that. And so that's what I did. Outside of that, on a separate but closely related issue was a parcel of land here in Comstock. And that parcel number is 0729355-060. And it came to sale after a lot of issues had to be resolved concerning ownership. And that sale was for $150,000. And so, again, related to Comstock and the business and how we handle business here and how we should do things in the appropriate manner after getting the proper deeds done to do business. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Pratt. Clerk Beauchamp,
I have nothing tonight.
Trustee MacGyver,
No, thank you, I have nothing.
Treasurer Bloomfield.
I wasn't going to say anything either tonight, but I believe the reason that Trustee Pratt pulled the agenda item of my lawsuit had to do with government immunity, because he continues to bring something to the board that has nothing to do with this township. When the four voted to have that looked in by Attorney Thal, I believe that cost you taxpayers anywhere from $700 to $1,000. Just that one instance. And you're right, those of you who stood up tonight and said this nitpicky, crappy little chit-chat stuff needs to stop, it's costing you money. I sign these checks. I see what goes out, and it's frustrating. I see what you people are dealing with. I see it when I'm out walking in the neighborhoods. We need to stop spending, and it needs to be out of this little frivolous, let's check into this for this the trustee, for the supervisor, the treasurer. Let's just do what we were elected to do for the voters, and that is to run a good township, because I feel like we're overtaxing them, and what are they getting? What are they getting for this money? I have a hard time seeing it. I'm as frustrated as they are. So I hope that's the end of this with my personal life. It needs to stop, because as of my opinion right now, you have lost government immunity, Mr. Pratt. And everybody, have a wonderful holiday. Thank you.
We shall see.
I would like to focus on government business up here, and I think it would only be appropriate that we requested a legal written review pertaining to this matter, and that at the next board meeting, I'd like to bring it under supervisor to waive privilege so we could see what our attorney advised us in regards to this matter, whether it was on the agenda and struck or not. The point being is that something else pertaining to township business wasn't on the agenda. And I think that we should focus on moving the township forward. Thank you all for visiting. Have a great night. This meeting is adjourned.